Welcome back to the Sports News Analysis YouTube channel. My name is Mike. I'm continuing my 2014 NFL free agent and salary cap analysis, and this video is for the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals obviously last year winners of the AFC North, but their season ending once again in disappointing fashion, losing in the wild card round of the playoffs, this time at home. And last year was a year where they had a lot of defensive free agents, and a majority of them they signed to remain members of the Bengals. This offseason, not as many pressing free agents. Obviously, the first one everyone's going to look at is Michael Johnson, the defensive end, whom they franchised last year. Johnson followed up a very good 2012 with a little bit of a disappointing 2013, only registering 3.5 sacks. So you wonder what his value will be on the open market. Maybe his value on the open market isn't what it would have been, prior to this year, especially when you consider some defensive ends in contract years had a monster year. I think of Michael Bennett, he comes to mind. So maybe the Bengals can get him at a cost-effective number here. The Bengals have about $25 million in cap space available. So do they get Johnson back on a team-friendly deal? Do they go the extra mile to re-sign him is really going to be the question here on the defensive side of the ball. On the offensive side of the ball, a guy who's not being talked about enough, in my opinion, is Anthony Collins. I know Collins was a guy who played about 600 snaps for the Bengals last year. Their best backup offensive lineman for sure, and maybe one of the best backup offensive linemen in the entire NFL. He started some games for the Bengals at tackle as well. So is this a guy that gets starter money somewhere else? It remains to be seen. But if the Bengals can bring him back at the upper echelon of like a backup lineman salary, they have to bring him back, in my opinion. But if he goes out somewhere else and gets guaranteed starter money, I mean, he's a top 5 offensive tackle available, in my opinion, in the entire NFL. So I think a team's going to jump on him and make him a starter. Are the Bengals ready to make that leap with him? I wouldn't think so. But again, I think he's a real solid player. Only going to be 28 when the season starts next year. So I guess it remains to be seen what happens with Anthony Collins. But those are the two big names. But, they do have the $25 million in cap space. So you might just say, well, if those are the only two big free agents, why don't they sign those two with that much room? Well, you got to remember, A.J. Green and Andy Dalton, both of their rookie deals run out after next year. Dalton will be a free agent in 2015, and A.J. Green has a club option for 2015. Either way, the contract situations for both these guys will have to get figured out here either this offseason or next offseason. If I'm the Bengals, maybe I try to extend A.J. Green now, okay, and worry about Andy Dalton after next year, after he proves to you whether he's, the franchise guy or not. We see a lot of quarterbacks get in this situation the first 4 or 5 years of their career playing on their rookie deal. It's that second deal where they really break the bank. But again, they should probably get A.J. Green sewed up as quick as possible, especially with the amount of cap space they do have this offseason. But let me know what you guys think of the Bengals' offseason plans, of the free agents I mentioned, or maybe some other free agents you'd like to see them add. Hit me up in the comments here. Hit me up on Twitter as well. Guys, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I talk the NFL 365 days a year, so be sure to subscribe. It's totally free. Thanks for listening. Have a great night.